All right, we should be live. Let's double check on that. Say something real quick, Coop.
Something.
Okay, yeah. Your thing lights up, so we should be good.
That's good.
So how's your week been? I haven't really talked to you since New Year's. I've had to be doing stuff.
Yeah, mostly just getting caught up with chores and the such and the like.
Yeah.
Everything I was not paying attention to over Christmas break, but we back at it. We back out here. What about yourself?
Oh, I did a lot of chores. They replaced my air handler in my apartment.
So you actually have heat now?
Yep, I've got heat. My energy bill last month was ridiculous because the emergency heat is resistive heating instead of heat pump. So that was very expensive. Not too happy about that.
And I guess it's better than your apartment freezing.
Yeah, then the pipes bursting and all that. Yeah, that would have been much more expensive. But they showed up at like 8 a.m. on Tuesday. I think, yeah, it was Tuesday. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm up now. And I hadn't put anything away from coming, because I basically came home and went to sleep. I didn't put anything away. And there was just kind of dirt tracked everywhere from the apartment people coming in trying to fix my heat. So I had to, I put everything away, and then I did laundry, and then I had to vacuum and mop and clean the bathroom. So I was up at like 8, and I didn't finish cleaning until like 10. So I did a nice
14 hours.
Nice deep clean. I took a little bit of break to have some food midday, and I wasn't pushing myself at all either. Oh, you know what? I had a little nap as well. Well, because I was waiting. I just got a speaker for Christmas. It's like a JBL, I think it is. And I was using that so I could, watch some YouTube or listen to podcasts while I was cleaning. And I was sitting waiting for a load to finish, and I had it sitting in my lap on my stomach. And I was nice and reclined, and I was listening to a podcast, and they had very bassy voices, and I think I fell asleep for like half an hour while I was waiting for the laundry to finish. But it was needed, very much needed.
Maybe keeping his home spick and span.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I need to do clean. I need to start spring cleaning now. I need to, because I got more kitchen stuff. So I was like, oh, I need to go through my pantry and clean that up. It's not very space efficient. I need to, toss things that shouldn't be in there anymore. And then I looked at my closet today, and I'm like, there's a lot of boxes in here I don't need. I need to go through that. So I think that's what's going to be my my January project is start throwing some stuff away.
I do a little cleanse.
Yeah, not even anything that's like, oh, I don't use this pot, I'm gonna throw it away. It's like, no, I don't need this shoe box for shoes that I don't own anymore. I'm not gonna use it. If I need boxes, I can get boxes. I don't need to keep all these boxes. So
I think it's good to get rid of unneeded clutter.
Yeah. Well, you want to get on into it then? I think today's going to not be a too terribly long one.
No, let's do it.
So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. It's a year in review. First one of the year. It isn't the first Sunday of the year, but the first Sunday was the first. So, give us a break. We were a little hungover that day. Also, not at home.
Out celebrating the new year, 2023.
Yeah. But we're just going to be going through the albums that we did this last year. And, this is technically it shouldn't be Year of the Frog anymore. But since this is technically the
one last hurrah.
Yeah. One last hurrah. The next episode will be whatever the year is. Maybe we just follow the Chinese New Year on that and do Year of the Rabbit.
Oh. Wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. But we didn't actually get to too many albums this year. I'm looking here.
Dude, a solid 20. just about.
Which, considering there's 52 weekends, that's an F.
A little less than half, but you take into account holidays and
Mhm.
life events.
You were quite busy this year.
And then, of course, all our other podcasts that we host.
Right, the music themed car podcast.
Yes,
that one
that takes
took
a
off
lot
this
of our
year.
time.
Yeah. What's that one? The record store. We give cars different ratings based on record quality.
But we still got through a solid number of albums this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a couple. Do you want to go down the list and say all what we've done and then kind of go from there? Or what did you have any machinations about how you wanted to do this, Coop?
Nah, I figured we'll just go through the list of albums that we reviewed, and we'll just kind of be ranking our top 3 worst albums, our top 5 best albums of the year, just based on the ones we reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll run through the list quickly, give you a little background of exactly what we're reviewing.
I hate to say we forgot one, but didn't we have Vampire Weekend in there, or was that 2021?
No, it's 2021.
Was it, man? Well, I think we did so few albums that my brain's like, no, that was 2022.
Actually, I think it's well into 2021.
I believe it.
Sam,
that's right, because that wasn't the first The Weeknd album we did. Right? Okay.
Sam, it's 2048.
Oh God,
2021 was
that'd be horrible.
It was 27 years ago. You gotta let go.
Look, it's like that scene in Saving Private Ryan,
It just ages.
It just ages. Goes from young Matt Damon to the guy standing in the.
It's been 84
Arlington.
years.
I guess that wasn't Arlington. Was he in Arlington or was he at France? I don't know.
Wherever.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. What did we listen to, Coop?
Well, I'll go through. These are, in terms of the number of albums reviewed, they're albums 73 through 92. So we'll actually be coming up on our 100th review album this year.
And this
which is quite exciting.
We're coming into year. We'll be
year
starting
4.
year 4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, technically, we're still in year 3 since we started April.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got to keep my eye out on that 5-year anniversary. I got to start getting some stuff together for that.
The machinations.
I've got a plan.
So in order of our reviewing them, we reviewed Dawn FM by The Weeknd, Solid State Survivor by Yellow Magic Orchestra, American Idiot by Green Day, The Juniper Songbook by Summer Salt, Venus and Mars by Wings, Made in Timeland by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Omnium Gatherum by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, 1996 by Yuichi Sakamoto, Asian Dreamer by Cassiopeia, Let's Dance by David Bowie, Gorillas by Gorillaz, Freedom by Journey, A New World Record by Electric Light Orchestra, Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy by Leonard Nimoy, On Guitar by Masayoshi Takanaka, Speaking in Tongues by Talking Heads, Backyard Boogie by J Boog, Out of the Blue by ELO, Fleetwood Mac by Fleetwood Mac, and Elvis's Christmas Album by Elvis Presley. I'm trying to think that band names are just made up.
Yeah.
Just saying them back to back.
Quite a few of those were just the artists.
Come on. Whose name is David?
But I think we only had one guest this year, right? We had Matt on for American Idiot.
Yep, and that was pretty early in the year.
It was, yeah.
It's actually been hot seconds since we've had a guest.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to get another one on and try and get to at least 50% this year. Give it a shot. But yeah, do you want to start things off negative or positive, Coop? What are you thinking?
I say we start negative and positive.
Okay. So my third worst album of the year. So we're gonna do the top 3 worst and the top 5 best.
Correct.
My third worst, so not the worst, but third. For me, I would have to say probably Made in Timeland. Just because it was filler music. That's what the album was meant to be. 2 15-minute songs, and it didn't really have a theme. It was, I don't know. It just wasn't very good because it wasn't really an album.
No, that's fair. My number 3 personally is Backyard Boogie by J Boog.
Look, I mean, we have all same 3 albums here, Coop. I'll be honest, they're just a different order.
Oh, well, are they?
Yes.
Well, that'll make this a lot easier. Well, then I'll talk about Made in Thailand.
Okay.
Which was my number 1 personally. For the same reason as yours, except I really hate the sound of ticking clocks. I didn't know if you knew that about me.
Oh, I did not. See, I kind of like when that's in music.
I don't. I don't even like it when it's just around me. Back when I was working in Houston, my office had this clock that would just tick, 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 tick. Just like right next to my ear. I just take out the batteries.
Huh. Yeah, I guess you won't want to come over once I get a grandfather clock then.
I mean, if I'm not like in the same room as it, there's background noise.
I'm going to have one in every room in the house.
Why would you? Oh, so 3 grandfather clocks?
Yeah. No, one in the bathroom too, so 4.
Oh, jeez. It's like ticking up, just like it's on top of the toilet.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I just hate the sound of clocks. And this one's literally got the sound of a clock in the back the entire time. And also, it's not a very good album. I mean, it's just, like you said, it's very background music, which,
I can see why that would push it to your number 1.
Can be annoying. But I mean, it was basically just like it was literally made to be filler music for their concerts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like whenever they're switching sets. And I mean, it doesn't behoove a good album experience.
No, not at all. So what was your third least favorite?
Well, my third was Backyard Boogie.
And that was my first.
Wow. So a little switch. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rank it first, but I definitely didn't enjoy it. I mean, it's not like actively terrible. I don't think we, at least on my end, I was looking through, I didn't give any scrapyards this year.
Yeah, I can't remember if I did, but looking at this list, I was like, wow, we really had a lot of pretty good. It was difficult to pick the worst albums.
We leaned towards albums that we kind of prefer to work more in our wheelhouse this year. So even though these are bottom 3, they're not like the worst of the worst we've ever reviewed.
No.
I'm not going to actively seek them out again, but they're not like ear scraping as some previous worst of albums.
Right. It was when J Boog came on when I was in Hawaii having lunch, I laughed as opposed to, oh my fucking God, they're playing this song. I was like, oh my God, they're playing J Boog. That's hilarious.
And it was. Now, again, that doesn't mean I actually like J Boog.
Right. Yeah. No, I wouldn't choose to listen to it ever again. But
I could see why someone would like it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not like it lacks any artistic integrity.
Not like Santana's album.
Right. Will forever be just El Garbo.
It's going to be hard. We're going to be hard pressed to find something worse than that.
I mean, I think that you could theoretically find music that like is more amateurish or sounds worse, but the sheer selling out factor.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be decades deep in your career and have a lot of industry pool to pick an album that bad.
Yeah. And I mean, we've listened to amateur artists when they were amateur. Excuse me, like we listened to Billie Eilish's first album and we listened to Lil Nas's first album, and there were some rough songs in there, but you could hear like, oh, they're growing as musicians, they're getting better, they're learning because they're just kids.
Santana, that man knows better.
Yeah, he knows better. Like that was just a pure garbage. You picked bad songs, sell out. Ugh, that was horrible. Anyway, what's your?
Yeah, just complaining about Santana album still.
Yeah, it wasn't even this year. That was 2 years ago. But we both have the same second worst album of the year, which is Elvis's Christmas album.
Yeah, which was the last one we reviewed of this year.
Which for me was a huge surprise.
Yeah, this one was. The first half was fine. I mean, it was, a couple Elvis ditties, some Elvis covers of classic Christmas songs, but that back half was a rough back half.
And it wasn't even that it was bad, it was just samey.
And boring.
Yeah. I think if you took that album and you shotgunned it into a Christmas playlist and you had it on shuffle, perfectly fine. They're perfectly serviceable Christmas songs. It's just back to back, not really anything innovative happening. It wasn't, I mean, it was his third album, so he kind of was still finding a style. I don't know. It was just, I expected more from Elvis. I expected more from the best-selling Christmas album of all time.
Right. Expectations were a little heightened by its commercial success.
Also, it was fucking Elvis. Like, come on.
Yeah. When you think King of Rock and Roll, you don't think, 20 straight minutes of just really dirgy, Christmas like hymns.
And I think it didn't help that the not mixing was bad, but there just wasn't a lot going on. Like, the one that had the most going on was Blue Christmas. And there's not a lot going on in Blue Christmas. But when that one has the most going on, and in the other songs, the backing choir carries the song, you're in trouble.
Right. So it didn't really exactly lead to the most enjoyable Christmas album experience.
Yeah. Well, those are the worst. It can only get better from here.
Well, it has to, because we're going to go on to our top 5 best albums of the year.
I haven't looked at these, and I'm not going to look. I want this to be a surprise from you. So let's. Why don't you give your number 5 first?
I'll start with my number 5. My number 5, I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to give it a tie because I was having trouble deciding between these two. Fair. It was kind of, and they're different albums, very different albums, but I like both of them quite a bit. Was the Omnium Gatherum by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and Don FM by The Weeknd. Omnium Gatherum, I think it's funny that they're both in my, King Gizzard's both my top 5 best and top 3 worst. But I think that speaks to their kind of diversity of sound.
Well, the other one was the filler.
It was literally filler, so I digress. But they released a number of albums this year, and I think Omnium Gatherum was one of their stronger ones in recent memory. Just, it didn't really have like necessarily a central hook as much as just being very solid, kind of prog rock, Australian rock album. Mm-hmm. And then Don FM, I thought was just a solid kind of synthy 80s pop throwback by The Weeknd, kind of continuing his vein from his previous album. Was that Blinding Lights? No, that was a song.
That was a song on the previous album.
I'm completely, because we reviewed his previous album.
Yes. I don't remember what it's called.
And, we weren't that favorable on it. After Hours, I was completely After Hours. I completely blanked on that. I think this was an improvement in every way. Kind of had a little cooler of a story going on. Jim Carrey was in it. And it's some songs that have been going on the playlist, getting some plays. So kind of the two sides of my 5 coin there. What about you, Sam?
I hold a little bit of a grudge against The Weeknd just because Mystery Skulls has kind of shifted towards that style, which I'm not a fan of. Like, make your own music. Come on. Don't just be The Weeknd Part 2. But my number 5 was Asian Dreamer by Cassiopeia. Which is a little cheaty because I've been listening to that album for years. But it's just solid. It's a very good compilation album. Has some of my favorite versions of the songs on there. I listened to after we did the whole history. I think I've still got the picture here. I can flash it up. Yeah, here it is. All the past members of Cassiopeia. So it gets a little chaotic, but
hey, Noro's been in there since the beginning.
Yeah, and I think they're finally dissolving. I don't remember. We talked about it. Go watch that episode if you want the history. But it just has some of my favorite versions of those songs. It's very relaxing. Has a couple of hard hitter puncher moments, and it's just all around a very nice, fun album for me.
Oh, nice. Also a good album. It didn't make my top 5, but I still thoroughly enjoy it.
What's your 4 then?
My 4 then is Solid State Survivor by Yellow Magic Orchestra.
Oh, that's surprising.
A solid album. A solid album, if I do say so myself. That I still think I slightly prefer their debut release.
Yeah.
Even though it's got some let's call it old-timey video game sounds on it. That are a little grating to some modern ears. Solid State Survivor is definitely a lot more palatable, and it still has, their fun, electronic stylings to it. I think, the three main YMO members, Hosono, Sakamoto, and the third one, I forget the name of.
Wow.
I've listened to their albums. I haven't listened to his, but I think they bring their A game in terms of like just a solid kind of a 80s electro album.
Yeah,
I believe this was an early 80s release.
that was actually my number 3. So I can say a little bit to it now. They have gone from I didn't know anything about them at the beginning of this year to they are one of my staples at this point. Probably one of my favorite discoveries, we've had, at least I've had on this podcast, because you knew about them and you're like, hey, you should listen to this. And I listened to them like, Cooper, we gotta do one of the albums. Come on, please.
I knew it sounded enough like ELO that it'd trick you into listening to them.
Well, no, because I love that kind of chaotic electronic style. I like the early electronica. What's his name? Jean-Pierre Jacques or whatever it is. One of the very early electronica guys who was doing tape splicing and all that. I love listening to that really, really old stuff because they've got some crazy sounds. And this was just right up my alley. And now I listen to them all the time. So I had to give them my number 3 spot because, man, do I love those albums. Especially, and they are a bit weird and they're a bit out there, but just it's got such a good album experience. It's made to be listened to all the way through. Everything flows. I will say some of the songs I prefer the live versions. Don't like the non-live version of Tong Poo that much.
That's a good version.
The live version has a really great solo. In the non-live version, there's not really anything happening. So I will say, yeah, that's not the best, but fantastic band. Love them.
Oh, nice. Then I'll move on to my number. Well, I guess you should. How about you give your number 4?
Sure. So my number 4 was On Guitar by Masayoshi Takanaka.
Ah, yes.
Man, was that a fantastic album. Still listen to it all the time. Still trying to work my way through his discography, but holy crap, that dude is prolific. We looked at it. He's released something like 30 albums. And that's like just albums. That's not even the compilation albums. And this one isn't even on that list because it's just these are just covers for the most part. So I'm still working my way through that, and I just love his style. Very relaxing, kind of. It's jazzy, but it's also kind of like city pop-ish. That's my favorite. I think I need to do more city pop this year. I think that's my New Year's resolution.
Get back into the city pop as spring bursts forth in the warmth.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good time to me. So what's your number 3, Coop, since we already did mine?
Well, in that case, my number 3 has to be David Bowie's Let's Dance. I know this was kind of, he considered his sellout album because you're trying to appeal to a more poppy sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. So it worked. Not even to mention the title track, Let's Dance, which, if you don't start dancing to Let's Dance, then I don't know what to do with you. Because it's just an excellent, even as a, maybe a more quote-unquote palatable to the masses song, it's still got his kind of weird-ass vocal delivery that you had to grow to love with David Bowie. And even without that, it has some great songs even about the title track. Modern Love is obviously a classic that's played all the time as well. China Girl is a good song as well. And even his back half with like Criminal World and Shake It, has brings some interesting things to the table. So I think, if this is David Bowie trying to be a little more, or a little less weird, his AKA his Phil Collins years, as he called it, I think it worked. It showed that that guy could, play to the audience as well as make his weird, background German music that he was making in the 80s as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that didn't make my my top 5, but I agree. It's good album. Good album. I guess I'll do my number 2 then, since not to make you talk a bunch back to back. My number 2 was A New World Record by Electric Light Orchestra. Shocker, I know. It's a very good album. It would be number 1, but I had to pick something else for number 1.
I wonder what.
Shut up. Quiet you. It's got Tightrope and Telephone Line. 2 fantastic songs. The rest of it's okay, but not as. It's such a strong start. It just doesn't finish out as strong. Which, how do you follow those 2 up? They're just so good. Um, I didn't listen to as much ELO this year. You'll be happy to hear. I branched out quite a bit more. So hopefully I can still love ELO but still listen to other things. I'm listening to it a bit less just because my car speakers are shit, and it doesn't handle the silver dollar sized tweeters don't handle stacked strings very well.
Like that bass.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even handle bass all that great. So, but I still love them. Still love singing it. But that's my number 2. What's your number 2, Coop?
My number 2 has got to be "Speaking in Tongues" by Talking Heads. I personally really like this record a ton. Talking Heads has always been a pleasure of mine. In terms of just their weirdo, delivery, bass lines, kind of instrumentation all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, David Byrne's kind of vocal deliveries are almost alien at
Yes.
points, but I really like his delivery.
It's like an odd fellow.
I always call it as it's like you're forcing an alien to act like a person at gunpoint.
Yeah, that's a good description.
But it's got so many classics. "Burning Down the House," is a fantastic opener. But even just like the entire first half with, "Mickey Flippy Floppy," "Girlfriend's Better," "Swamp," "Pull Up the Roots." So many great tracks and licks on this album that just lead to a really unique energy that's hard to find anywhere else. It somehow manages to be like both danceable and just kind of like bonkers weird, which I think is a hard line to straddle. And they somehow managed to do it on this one. And for our number 1, I say "our" because I'm assuming yours is the same as mine.
You know what they say about assumptions, Cooper.
Okay, we'll say it at the same time.
Okay.
Our number 1 is
Elvis's
"Freedom"
Christmas
by Journey.
Oh,
wait. Both your worst and your best. No, it's "Out of the Blue" by ELO.
Yeah, "Out of the Blue." Absolutely. It's their best album for a reason. Granted, it does have Mr. Blue Sky on it, which is their most well-known song. But overall, as an album experience, it's fantastic. It doesn't have the same through line as Time, but it's got "Concerto for a Rainy Day," which is just lovely. It goes hard, it goes slow, it just is all over the place, and it's a lovely double LP.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jeff Lynne and co. It's not just Jeff Lynne at this point.
Not at this point.
I mean, obviously they get out some, like, obviously some major hits, and "Turn to Stone,"
Mm-hmm.
"Sweet Talking Woman," "Mr. Blue Sky," I think goes without saying. But also delivers, I think, some really interesting, more low key cuts on the side too. "Concerto for a Rainy Day" is like a one long song that ends with "Mr. Blue Sky," which is obviously their most famous song of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And they also get, kind of weird in their side 4.
It's got the whale song on there?
Yeah, I got the whale song. They've got their Western tribute song, of course. A Birmingham Blues song, because Jeff Lynne has made some sort of pact with the devil where he has to put some sort of throwback 50s rockabilly song in every single one of his albums.
Well, it's not so much a pact with the devil as that's what he grew up listening to, so that's what he really likes.
Yes.
If Roy Orbison hadn't passed away, we would have so much Jeff Lynne and Roy stuff around.
Oh yeah.
He was gagging at the bit to make stuff with him.
Gagging at the bit? Yes. I don't think that's the He must have been really excited.
Yeah, he was. He managed to get Roy Orbison back into music, and then he got him to sing one of his songs, and he was thrilled. Because I mean, on the Traveling Wilburys album, "Rattled," which is sung by Jeff Lynne, is written by Roy, and then I can't remember the name of the one Jeff wrote that Roy sang. I don't remember what it is, but they were wanting to do a lot more of that, just because that's what Jeff grew up listening to. So that's the kind of music he likes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. Obviously, he enjoys that type of music, and it's one on every album. But I mean, overall, Out of the Blue is just I think kind of the cream of the crop for ELO.
Yeah,
in terms of them being at their peak delivery, kind of their peak beating by the beat of their own drum.
There's a reason it's their best
Beatles influences, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
A Day in the Life? I've not heard of that. What are you talking about?
But yeah, it's just a thoroughly enjoyable double album that I think everyone should give a listen to. Piece of rock history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here's to hoping that Jeff puts out another album here. I know he's getting up there in years, but it sounds like he's still in the game, so to speak. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much he's still writing versus just producing. So we'll see. Maybe
if Jeff Lynne releases a Santana-like album, I think I'll cry.
Yeah, I would too. That'd be really. I'd have to take down the shrine in the corner to him.
But of course, him having that many guest artists on his album would not allow him to put his name on the album.
Right.
So he would never allow it.
That would never happen. It's got to be all him. Well, that's all we got. Do you want to do Spare Tires at all, Coop, or you want to just keep this as a little?
Keep it as its own standalone. Obviously, we're getting to a new year, so fresh start. Like I said, we're going from Year of the Frog to Year of the Rabbit. So we'll have to find some good rabbit-related pictures here.
I got to figure out what color I'm changing the backgrounds to as well.
Yeah, because a lot of rabbits are browns.
I'm thinking, well, it depends what rabbit you're talking about, because they could be anything from gray to brown to white to black. So
it's true. There's a lot of frogs. Then again, frogs come in an assortment of colors, right?
True, but you think frog, you think green.
That's true.
Anyway, but I've got one honorable mention before we cut things off. Venus and Mars by Wings, just because of how much I've listened to Venus and Mars Reprise, and Titanium Man.
You do like your Titanium Man.
God, it's good. I've kind of burnt myself out on it now, but I really wish Venus and Mars Reprise were longer, because that melodic lick, it just really gets in your head. They're so short.
This Paul McCartney, was it? He's up to good things.
I'll have to see if he's in anything else.
Yeah. I think one of his former bandmates worked for Jeff Lynne, so that's
yeah. I did hear about that. Working his way up in the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Well, if that's all, then I guess we're wrapping up here.
Yeah, I think so. I think overall, successful 2022, and there'll be more to come in 2023.
We'll try not to miss our 4-year anniversary by how many months was it last time?
Yeah, we didn't keep count.
I think it was July, and then I was like, shit, Cooper, we didn't do a Gorillaz album for the year.
Actually, isn't a new Crillis album coming out here soon?
Soon, yeah. They're selling the merch for it now. What is it? The something cult?
Cracker Island.
Cracker Island, but it's like cult themed.
Yeah, it's releasing in February, so maybe we'll.
There we go. We can either do that then, or I guess we don't have to do it on the closest Sunday to.
It does feel appropriate, though.
It does, but it's also fun to do hot off the press,
That's true. So we'll discuss that more.
Yeah, and February, April's right there. We can talk about it later. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like what you hear and you want to hear us talk about actual albums instead of just shooting the shit for half an hour, you can scroll down on the Twitch page. There's a picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the sunglasses and the fake afro. You click that, take you to YouTube, where all the past episodes, minus the one Supertramp that I forgot to upload, live. And then if you're listening on YouTube and you want to listen to us live and get involved and yell profanities at us in chat, you can do that. It's in the YouTube video description.
And you can also follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD on Twitter. If you want to know what we're listening to and when we're going to listen to it, give us a follow there. And otherwise, we hope you join us for a fun and successful 2023.
Yeah, a whole another year. They just don't stop coming, do they?
Don't stop coming, and they won't stop coming.
They hit the ground. Anyway, thank you.
We'll only review Smash Mouth in the following year. Wait, no.
I'd be down. Walking on the Sun is a fantastic song.
That is a good song.
Maybe we should do that.
Review only Smash Mouth?
No. At least I'm saying review a Smash Mouth album.
Oh, okay.
But
we'll add it to the docket.
Yeah, add it to the docket. thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.